As an example of integration by parts, I've chosen free response question from 2008 AP Calculus BC exam, where they've given us the derivative function in an initial value, and in part C have asked us to find the value of f of 3. According to the fundamental theorem of calculus, f of 3 is equal to f of 1 plus the definite integral from 1 to 3 of f prime of x dx. And as I rewrite the function, I notice that the function I need to find the antiderivative for is a product of two functions. I basically have two choices. Either it's a u substitution, which doesn't take long, hopefully, to figure out that it's not that, or it's integration by parts. So using integration by parts, I'm going to choose u to be equal to x minus 3. The polynomial function is easy to differentiate, and it gets simpler every time I take the derivative. And I'm going to choose dv to be everything else, which is e to the x dx, the exponential function. So du would therefore have to be equal to dx, since the derivative of x minus 3 is 1. And v would be equal to e to the x, since the antiderivative of e to the x is itself. So using my integration by parts formula, u times v, x minus 3 times e to the x, minus the antiderivative of v du, e to the x dx. And then realizing that I can take that antiderivative pretty easily. X minus 3 e to the x minus e to the x plus c is the antiderivative of our f prime. So going back over here to the left and now plugging in some things. 7 plus x minus 3 times e to the x minus e to the x, evaluated from 1 to 3, is my next step. So, plugging in 3 and 1 respectively, this is 7 plus 0 minus e to the third power minus negative 2e minus e. And so my solution is 7 minus e cubed plus 3e. The important part here is you need to show the integration by parts in some way. I've chosen to do it by writing it over on the side and explicitly stating the u and the dv. That helps in allowing the reader of your question understand where you're going when your antiderivative appears. And it also helps, if you make a mistake, for them to be able to assign you partial credit if it's warranted.